But viewers, we are also being joined by a very special guest, Darren Rockman, who is an Israeli working professional. At the very outset, I would like to ask you, what is the current situation in Israel and where are you right now? What is your predicament at the moment?
I am currently in the center of the country, near a city called Bet Shemesh. The situation at the moment is that the country is on a war footing. We are at the moment burying our dead from the massacres on Saturday. There are funerals every day. I was at a funeral yesterday. I'll be at another funeral today. We are experiencing a huge trauma across all parts of society. People are having to come to terms with losses which we have never experienced in our lifetimes. The massacres on Saturday were the single biggest massacres of Jewish people since the Nazis in the Holocaust. So this is a traumatic moment for the Jewish people and for the people of Israel.
What is the latest advisory of movement and the war that you've received from your government?
Yeah, so the government has closed all of the schools. No children are going to schools. The universities are closed. People are being told to stay close to a safe room. You need to be in at a short distance from a safe room because there are ongoing missiles being launched against Israel every day. They are less than we saw on Saturday, but they continue.
Also, what is the information that has been received on the civilians taken hostage by Hamas?
There is very little information. In fact, we still don't know how many people exactly have been taken. The latest estimates are somewhere between 100 and 150 hostages, but that is changing all the time. And we also do not know which of them are alive and which of them are dead. The names of the hostages or the identity of the hostages is becoming clearer. We know there are grandparents. We know that there are many children. It is assumed that something like 40 children have been taken hostage and are being held by Hamas in dungeons in Gaza. This is an absolute atrocity. This is the type of behavior which no human being should ever commit. And Israel is in shock, and I think the world is in shock. We heard President Biden last night give incredible support to Israel, and he said Hamas is evil. Hamas are like ISIS, and that is 100% accurate. The types of things that they did, the images that are being seen around the world, the rape of women, babies being shot point blank in the head. I'm sorry that I have to say this, but these are the people that we have to deal with. This is our enemy.
You have informed that people have been asked to move to bomb shelters, but how are the current days in Israel like?
On Saturday, my family and I were in a shelter. We have one in our home, which we have used before and we had to use again. There are people in parts of the country near Gaza who are constantly being in bomb shelters all day on Saturday, Sunday, and that continues from time to time. We have sirens going off all the time. We can hear bombing in the distance.
And are you being able to connect with extended family and friends? And what are you learning about the situation in other areas from them?
So we're hearing terrible things from down south. And we're seeing terrible things from down south. I have a work colleague whose aunt is missing, dragged from their home. I know people that had to run from homes down south. The area around the villages, the farming villages around Gaza have been evacuated because it is just too dangerous for anybody to live there. In the cities around Gaza, they are constantly under threat. There are ongoing reports of terrorist activities. There was a lot of that obviously on Saturday, again on Sunday and Monday. Today there is less, but there are still reports going on from there. So the threat continues.
You're currently working on bringing Israeli soldiers back home from different parts of the world. Can you tell us a little more about this, please?
Look, Israel is an incredible country, and when we were under threat, our people come home. There are somewhere between 800 and 1,000 Israeli soldiers and doctors, and we desperately need doctors, spread across the Far East, India, Sri Lanka, Thailand, places like that, people who are on holidays, on vacation, some on business trips, desperately trying to get back. It is not easy to get them home. Our government and our army are inundated with needs with respect to the war. And so a group of private citizens, myself included, got together to try and bring these soldiers and doctors back home. Yesterday, we managed to bring home the first group of 59 people. Today, we expect to bring home 65. And over the coming days, by the end of the week, we will have hoped to bring back somewhere between 450 and 500 soldiers and doctors that we desperately need for this war effort. We know that we've had many casualties, and we are needing every soldier that we can get. So this is a critical effort. All of this is being supported by private donations, and we have a link. I'm very happy to share it with you for those who would like to help. It is expensive to bring people back from the Far East. Israel has a lot of needs, and so we are, and donors around the world are chipping in to make sure that this happens.
All right, a last question to you. What is your appeal to governments and other world agencies? How can the world help the Israeli reserve forces to return home to fight the war?
People around the world can do three things. The first thing is express your support to Israel. People that are on Facebook or Instagram or LinkedIn or whatever social network you want, it means a huge amount to us when we hear people from around the world say that they stand with Israel. That's the first thing. The second thing is this is going to be a long conflict. Nobody expects this to be over in a few weeks. In Israel right now, the reserve army, 300,000 soldiers have been called up for reserve duty, including members of my family and the family of most of my friends. We are going to need the world's patience because we have a huge job to do. We thought we had in Hamas a neighbor who didn't like us, hated us perhaps, but was going to play by certain rules and behave in a humane or relatively humane manner. It turns out we were completely wrong. We cannot live with Hamas on our borders. They pose a threat to every child, every woman, every man, every grandparent, every single person in Israel is fair game. We saw that on Sunday. We saw that in all of the towns and villages that have been completely destroyed and whose residents have been massacred. So we need to get rid of Hamas. They are evil. They are like ISIS. There are stories of people being beheaded, children included. I have a friend who's been out there collecting bodies, and the scenes are just horrendous. We can't live with Hamas on our borders anymore. And so this is going to be a long and difficult process of rooting out Hamas, destroying their infrastructure, and then hopefully Gaza will have the opportunity to have a more normal life. But we need the world's support for this. And for those who would like to help in bringing people home from around the world, we're happy. We've been collecting donations from people, and I'm happy to share a link for those who want to help out.
Well, I would like to thank you for joining us, sharing your experiences with us.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.